Father Andrew here. It's very important you actually watch this whole video. Getting straight into it, November 17th, a community guidelines change is going to overhaul everything affecting gambling and graphic violence in video games. The gambling one I can understand on the surface, and frankly, YouTube needs that, but given the hypocrisy of YouTube over the years, I'm going to cover that later. The graphic violence in video games, however, will change, and basically, it's going to destroy near enough 20 years of content on this platform. Despite that change also having nuances to it, it being focused on, and I quote, realistic human characters being tortured or scenes of mass violence against non-combatants, end quote, let's be entirely honest here. Despite this nuance making sense on the surface, the AI algorithm is going to have no idea what it's doing during moderation. We know that because to actually understand that happening on screen, you're going to need context as well, which the AI is going to struggle with, because I'm going to give an example here. My buddy Factual had his video got taken down for, and I quote, talking about a terrorist organization, in quotations, when all he did was talking about a game studio called Paradox and their outrageous prices. So he had to re-upload that video to Bitchute, which, on that note, all of mine get auto-uploaded to Bitchute as well, so if this channel gets nuked, you can still find my videos there, and it'll be linked in the description. Regardless, anyway, with that example, we know damn well that the AI moderation, it's not going to have an idea of what to target, and it's just going to take down anything it feels like. And with YouTube planning to double down on their AI moderation, replacing their human staff and offering them buyouts because the AI is going to be taking their job, it's just going to get so much worse. Like, you also wonder, why am I talking about this? Because I'm going to be honest, given the subject matter of some of my videos in the past, like my analysis of the antagonist from Hatred, where we see him straight up just shooting anyone he comes across because he's a monster. He's literally a psychotic villain. That's pretty much like, I was analyzing how dog shit his character is. Anyway, or the Postal Dude, because there's a whole timeline to that franchise, and really, there's a lot more going on than you'd think. My Cry of Fear videos. Those videos where we see the protagonist fight his way through monsters that look somewhat human. If the AI is going off things that look human, where does it draw the line? That's a good question. Another thing is my Dead Space videos, the necromorphs from Dead Space. Some of those things look almost exactly human. And because I use footage from Dead Space Remake, that footage is really high quality, so if the AI is just going off things that look human, that could also get flagged up as well. Despite the fact the necromorphs from Dead Space aren't human anymore, they're reanimated corpses, bunch of nonsense in the lore. I'm not going to get into the specifics, but the point here is, all of them are subject to either being, from November 17th, age-restricted or possibly removed, and despite the fact that they say content uploaded before November 17th, 2025 that violates these guidelines may be removed or age-restricted, but will not result in a strike. Let's be honest, you're probably going to community guideline strike, because they don't care enough to give their appeals for video removals to actual humans. So that really doesn't mean fuck all, let's be honest. Hell, the whole non-combatant thing they specifically mention in the clip, like, for example, you have a clip where someone is in a chair and they're being tortured for information. Why are they in that chair to begin with? You don't know who they are. They could be a home invader who is being tortured to find out where he came from. It could be a mob member. It could be someone who's just as violent or just as dangerous as the people doing it. You don't know, and you need context for the algorithm to react based on that, but then again, the algorithm doesn't look for that context at all. It just sees a character being tortured or possibly civilians or anything getting killed. But there's the problem. Let's say, for example, People Playground. You have these characters, they're kind of human-shaped, they're grey, but they are still human-shaped. And you have the necromorphs from Dead Space. They aren't human anymore, but they still have, some of them still have human faces. Some of them still have an almost human body shape. Those aren't human, and those are monsters. Those things will kill you given the chance. The algorithm is still going to maybe see that and say, oh, that's a person being tortured. It's the vagueness and the ambiguity in this that is the problem. I can understand the nuance here. I can understand what they're trying to do. But realistically, it's just going to create a ton of problems. Because the AI needs context to actually pick things out. And if it doesn't know what it's picking, then it really just, it's gonna fuck up. It's not gonna care. Not just that, but, like, let's be honest, the AI is not gonna know context. It's gonna assume shit half the time, and I'd hazard a guess that all my analysis videos on games with violence are quite possibly, moving on to the next page of the script, subject to this. They could straight up just get removed. And if they get removed after the 17th, I'm gonna be honest, the algorithm, the actual moderation system cares so little that you'll probably just get a strike anyway. So, that leaves me ultimately with two choices. So either, my options are 1, remove a whole year's worth of work just to potentially keep the channel up, or 2, keep the videos up and have Bitchute as a backup and just pray the channel stays around. But you know what, honestly, despite those being my two options, I'm going with 2. Because I've had it. I've fucking had it with this platform and the way it acts. Remember the aforementioned hypocrisy? I'm about to get into that right now. They allow gambling ads. Straight up porn ads on this platform too. Some of which are very suspect, I might add. But given the content of them, it's just, I'm surprised that YouTube allows them on the platform when it goes direct. If a person was to copy one of those ads and manually re-upload it onto their channel, gone. The whole fucking channel immediately deleted. But no, they just don't care. And as I said, they just don't give a fuck what happens on here anymore at this point. But what ultimately boils my piss here is, I'm gonna be honest, I have a very serious cold going on. You could probably hear it in my voice at this point. And there's other bullshit going on. Hell, my entire Halloween got ruined by this cold. I had plans and that got completely fucking sidetracked. But anyway, I have to rush this video out to give you all an update on what's going on. But regardless, at the end of the day, I only have this to say. YouTube is going to essentially crack down on fictional violence using AI moderation, which we all know is going to end badly because the AI these days can't tell the difference between a duck and a pickle. Let's be fucking honest. Anyway, frankly, you know what? I'm just going to keep uploading regardless, just despite this dog shit system that wants to get in our way. If the worst happens, I have a Bitchute, and hell, I could just make a new channel. I even have a spare one as a backup, so if the worst happens, I have ways to come back. But among all of this, what really angers me the most is I've spent 5 years building this community. And then YouTube does this. They threaten most of the YouTube gaming community too in the process. And frankly, I've legitimately just... I've had enough. I've had enough of that crap. And you know what? In spite of everything, I'm going to continue uploading. And I encourage everyone who's watching this to search for an alternate platform, because this just can't be allowed to continue. Anyway, in spite of absolutely all of that, in spite of just everything that I've just gone over, you know what? I'm going to continue to upload, as usual. If YouTube doesn't like that, they can frankly suck my fucking nuts. I don't care. But anyway, there is also content scheduled for this month. I have 3 music tracks that are scheduled. And despite all that, I'm going to be honest, I'm way too sick. I don't think I'm going to ever edit this video. I'm just going to go back to bed. Good night.